What's going on, everyone? UFC 304 is coming up this weekend. We have the champ Leon Edwards taking on Belal Muhammad, and we also have Tom Aspinall taking on Curtis Blades. An absolutely stacked card, a lot of tough fights to predict, and a lot of a lot of juice numbers. But I'm still going to give you the best bets of the card. I'm going to give you a safety parlay. I'm going to give you some straight and prop bets, and I'm also going to give you some sprinkles. And the sprinkles are just $5 to $10 bets that you can chuck on, and hopefully get a large payout for a small sum. Before we begin, let's just quickly go over the recap for last week. As you can see, we didn't do too well with our predictions. I predicted a lot of dogs for the card, and some hit, some didn't, and we'll go from there. But as you can see, our actual bets, we killed it. We hit both our safety parlays, so that brings it to 5 out of 6 safety parlays that I've done on this channel. Obviously, I've done safety parlays throughout my entire betting career, but in terms of the YouTube channel, we've hit 5 out of 6 so far, which is excellent, 84%. And we also hit every single one of our straight and prop bets. The Park and Tavares leg got removed, so we hit 4 out of 4 for our straights, and there's some plus money ones in there as well. We also hit one of our nibbles. Like I said, don't expect the nibbles to be full of green. They're just $5 to $10 Hail Marys. They're large plus numbers, and none of them are always gonna, sorry, how do I say this? Not all of them are gonna hit, but if one hits, it makes up for all of them, if that makes sense. So I think without further ado, we should hop onto the safety parlay for this week's card. And I'm really liking this one this week. I feel pretty confident in it. So, excuse me. The first one is the Bannon and Ardeline fight. Fight starts round 2, basically. So we have to survive 5 minutes of the fight, and we hit that leg. And the reason for it is really on the Bannon side. Bannon has no power. Bannon has little output. Yeah, I still think she might pull away with the victory, but she's not finishing anyone, and she's never been finished, obviously. So yeah, and then I know the Ardeline, she has a few fights where they're finished early on in the fight, but against higher level competition, you can see it gets extended. She's finishing girls that are like 0-3, 0-4, and stuff like that. And I just don't see her finishing Bannon, and I just don't see Bannon finishing anyone. So fight sales round 2 is a pretty safe bet there. Now for the next one is Parkin Moneyline, and I'm just playing it straight there. Parkin was able to outbox Pogues in the feet, and that should tell you everything in terms of this matchup, because I think Pogues is a much better fighter than Lucas Brzeski. I mean, Lucas Brzeski got over that victory with Walter Walker, but that was because Walker had literally no stand-up at all, and Walker was still able to take Brzeski down at will. And, Brzeski just survived that fight and basically won by the slimmest of margins. Parkin will either stand with him and box with him, or he'll take him down. Whatever he chooses, I think he's a very safe leg, and I think he's kind of like the lock of the card. Then we have the Wood money line. I mean, I think skill for skill, Wood is 10 times better than Pineda in every single asset of MMA. I know Pineda probably will be the bigger fighter of the two, but if Wood survives round 1, he's going to take over, and I think he's actually going to finish him, which will play into my straight bet coming up. But still, yeah, I think Wood just has him everywhere. Cardio, skill, even chin, I know Wood doesn't have the best chin in the world, but he survives, he survives getting hurt. He survived Naimov cracking him. He survived Philly cracking him. I think he's going to be able to see everything that Pineda throws, because Pineda throws everything with force, and he kind of winds up with it, as you can see it. Like even the leg kicks he throws, he like clocks it back like it's a bow. It's really bad. And yeah, I just really do not rate Pineda all that well. And the last one's kind of like a given. Aspinall, Blades, fight doesn't go the distance. I mean, Aspinall's never been in the 3rd round. This is a 5-round fight. I think he's going to KO Blades within the first 2. But if it even gets past that, I think he's in a bit of strife there. Or maybe not. We just really don't know, actually. But yeah, fight doesn't go the distance. If you want to, you can get to that leg, because obviously that's the second last fight of the card. If you get to this leg, you can just chuck on a bit of money on fight goes the distance, and you just basically hedge it off, and you're also guaranteed some profit there. So yeah, plus 137, I think that's a really good number. I would say the riskiest one out of the 3 is probably the Bannon and Ardeline fight starts round 2, just because of the unknowns of Ardeline, but even then, so I don't think it's going to end in round 1. So if you want to, you can hedge that one as well. You can just chuck fight not to start round 2, and you can hedge it there, but I don't think you need to. I think all of these hit, and I think they hit at a pretty high clip, so I'm very happy with this one. Now for our straights and props, I'm gonna be honest, this card's pretty hard to bet, because it's just juiced. I think parlays are the way to go in this card. I think the straights are just horrible in terms of the numbers. I was even looking at Molly McCann KO sub, and it was like, it's like plus 140 or something. I'm like, what? It's a women's MMA fight, and you're getting that for a finish? on a side as well. That's not even fight not to go the distance. That's just one fighter to finish it. I mean, a bit crazy these numbers. But anyway, I did the best I could, and hopefully you like them. So the first one, I lent into it before, I hinted at it before. It's Wood KO or sub at plus 100, so even money. I mean, like I said, Pineda is an absolute gas bag. What have I got here? I've got a note on him. Yeah, 43 bouts. He's only been to the decision 6 times in 43 bouts, and I just don't think he's gonna get the distance. You know, Wood cracks. He's also got submissions. You know, early on in his UFC career, he was submitting. I think he was like on a 3-fight submission streak. So that's why I'm playing the sub prop as well. I'm not just playing the KO because I can see a world where Pineda is absolutely gassed. Wood is just teeing off him on the ground and then catches him in a sub, or Pineda shoots a sloppy takedown and Wood catches him in a gilly. I like him here. I like him a lot. I would play even rounds 2 or 3, but they were even juiced themselves. Like, it was just not worth it. So I'll just take Wood KO or sub. The next one is Patterson to get a submission at another even plus 100. I mean, Crosby, he sucks on the ground. You look at the Kevin Gisay fight and the Georgie Karakhanyan fight. He literally does not know what to do on the ground. And Patterson's best route is his submission, his BJJ. People think of him as a striker for some reason because he's long and rangy, and he's not. He's not a striker at all. He is definitely a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And if he gets it to the ground, or if Crosby does something silly, I think Patterson will be fine to lock up a sub. I think he can get it any way he wants. And taking the plus money here is a good way to go about it. The next one is Bobby Green, and I know a lot of people are divided on this fight. I'm actually really confident in Bobby Green here. I'm not impressed by Paddy, and I said it in my breakdown and predictions. Where have you been impressed in a Paddy fight in the UFC? I can't name one at all. I mean, I watched Tony Ferguson, my favorite fighter ever, Tony Ferguson. We'll get to his breakdown next week. But yeah, he just struggled with Tony Ferguson. If Ferguson had any youth left in him or any, urge, he would have probably finished Paddy in the 2nd or 3rd round, because Paddy was gassed after the 3rd round. And first round, sorry. And I know Paddy tried to go for the finish in the 1st round, but still, you should not be gassing yourself out. It wasn't even the biggest finish ever. Like, it wasn't like he was unloading a 40-piece combination on him. I mean, Green, he's handled wrestlers before. He handled Thiago Moises. He went to the distance, I believe, with Thiago Moises. So even if he gets to the ground, I think he can survive there. And on the feet, I don't even think it's close. I think Green just will be able to see the shots of Paddy and, maybe even put him away. I didn't play the KO prop, but I definitely see Green winning this one. The only concern here, I think, is Paddy in the 1st round landing that flush KO, because Green's chin is not the best. But I'm pretty confident in him here, and, near plus money or near even money, I've got to take him. Now, the next one is like a given. Aspinall 1 and 2. It's not KO or it's not KO or sub only. It's both. For him to win in rounds 1 and 2. I mean, like I said before, he has never been in the 3rd round. He wins all his fights in the first 2 rounds. And to add insult to injury, his opponent, which is Curtis. I don't know. I'm going blank here. I'm tired. Curtis. All 4 of his finishes have been in the first 2 rounds. So why wouldn't you take Aspinall rounds 1 and 2 here? I know people have been saying, his father especially has been saying he wants this fight to be elongated a little bit, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Curtis doesn't have that much of a chin when he's fighting power punches, and I think Aspinall is going to be the best boxer he's ever fought. So give me Aspinall rounds 1 and 2 at minus 154. Now we have Christian Leroy Duncan KO at plus 165, so good plus money. And I just think it's because Robocop's chin, he has been cracked by everyone. I mean, if John Young Park is hurting you and nearly finishing you, I think that should spell it out there. I mean, he's been finished so many times, been hurt so many times. Chidi hurt him, Park hurt him, the Brazilian that knocked him out. I mean, he's been dropped and hurt numerous times. I said it in my predictions if you want to go back to that for a better breakdown of this fight. But I just think if you're going to play Duncan, you play him by KO, because I just think he has all the tools on the feet to finish a chinny Rodriguez. So, yeah, that's all my straights and props for the card. I'm not liking him as much as I did last week, but like I said, this week is very juiced. The numbers are all a bit ridiculous, and these are the best ones I can find for you. I don't want to give you something that's like minus 200 and all that. It's not worth it. If you want a pretty safe bet, like to add, but it's minus 200, I'd go the Wood fight not to go the distance. That's minus 200. So there you go. If you really want something a bit more juicier, that's probably going to hit Wood Pineda not to go the distance at minus 200. But I'm not going to give you that here because we want some value on our straights and props. The safety parlay is where we do the juiced legs and add it up. This is where we don't. All right. Now, definitely not juice numbers are these ones here. So, the first one is Modestus KO round 3, and that's basically on Prakniel being a gas bag. Prakniel in that Clark fight, horrible look. It was a low volume affair, and he was dead to rights, and if Clark had any power, any emphasis in that 3rd round, he would have finished. He nearly did finish Prakniel, and that's saying something. Yeah, Prakniel is just, he gasses out. If it goes to the 3rd round, I definitely think Modestus has a chance to KO him. And I think at plus 1600, why not take that? You know, chuck $5 on this one, and you know, hope that Modestus doesn't put him away early, and it gets that 3rd round, because I definitely think there's a shot here. The second one is Adeline to win on points at plus 400. I really don't think Bannon's good at all. I'm still picking her, like I said, in the slimmest of margins. But I just think this is a ridiculous number for a 50-50 fight. I think Adeline can win this, can be the more aggressive fighter, and, you know, might not be the more technical fighter, but will just win on volume alone. So yeah, Adeline plus 400. I'm not saying you have to bet these at all. There's just something that I've pointed out that I think's value, because you know, I don't think Bannon should be minus money against anyone. Now the next two is basically play Blades to win in rounds 3 or 4 or 5 at plus 2,000 and plus 4,000. Like I said, Aspinall's never been in the 3rd round. If we're gonna play the hypothetical game, if he hasn't been past the 2nd round or the 3rd round, or 2nd round, sorry, hypothetically he should fire out, maybe, we don't know. Okay, but this is just ridiculous numbers for Blades 3 and 4 and 5. I mean, you have to play these, because if you think Blades has any chance in this fight, this is probably his route. I don't think he's going to finish Aspinall or do anything to Aspinall in the first 2 rounds. And if Aspinall begins to tire, it might not even be because Blades is that dangerous. I think Aspinall could just gas himself out and just be dead to rights, and Blades just gets like a lay and pray ground and pound KO. So yeah, those are ridiculous numbers, because I think that is Blades's route to victory. And I just noticed I didn't put the D in for Blades. That sounded weird, but yes, you know what I mean. I misspelled his name. But like I said, I'm been a long week. Anyway, that wraps up the best bets. You know, like I said, our safety parlay's been killing it, 5 out of 6, so you should definitely tag along on that one. And our straights, you know, they hit last week, they hit the week before, and hopefully they hit this week. Other than that, do your own tape, make your own bets. These are only advice. They are not life guidance or anything like that, and they're definitely not financial advice. So yeah, enjoy the card. Enjoy it, because we don't normally get 14 fight cards, and we normally, you know, lately we haven't been getting that good of cards in general. I feel sorry for the English fans. They gotta stay up all night, but it is what it is. I guess us fans in Perth have to wake up at 5 AM to watch the Perth card. So yeah, enjoy your week, enjoy the fights, and hopefully I can get back to you my recap with a winning night. Other than that, catch you later. Enjoy. Ciao.